Hello Internet, welcome back to our tutorial series. We are going to be, I guess we're going to clear out this horde. I want some dang cargo spaces, which this vehicle has. Where's the vehicle that had them? There's one around here somewhere that we need to clear out the horde to really do some work on. We're using our vehicle as a weapon at the moment. We are poisoned as a result of running through a gas zombie. And I'm a little frustrated, frankly, but we're gonna keep puttering around here in our vehicle, plowing into them because it's easier than shooting all of them, and we'll just try to hit as many as we can. Don't clip the buildings if we can avoid it. It's just easier to deal with things in a vehicle. I do have my sound turned up way high because I was listening to a streamer. You know, it's funny, I just mentioned, we've talked about this before. If you leave your doors open, you're going to get some hop-ons. It's going to happen. So yeah, we've got some hop-ons here. We can shoot while driving. I generally would not recommend it. But you can do that if you're in a position where you can drive straight for a little while. You're going slow enough. Zombies generally will not move inside of your vehicle while you're driving. So for instance, that woman was in our passenger doorway here. As we're driving, she will stay stationary in that position. The problem is with the driver's door, that guy can actually hit us. You'll see he had grabbed us when we were standing there. So that is something to be aware of. Can you close a door while driving? You totally can. So let's slow down here and make a turn. And we're just going to keep using this as a weapon here because it's a little bit easier than hopping out and shooting everyone. Again, driving over the corpses does damage them. You'll see we pulped, actually completely destroyed that corpse of a zombie, which is interesting. So if you're looking for loot, this is not a viable thing. So if you see like a horde of soldier zombies that you want to actually take their stuff, I would not recommend. But for dealing with a group like this, vehicles are one of the best ways to do that. If you're trying to clear, say, a hospital, one of the best things you can do is just drive around outside till they come outside, run them all over, and then make your way out. So definitely something to keep in mind when you have that ability. We are poisoned, so we're taking damage here, unfortunately. And this is tedious, so let's talk about something. I was watching a streamer in between episodes here, and I don't actually like this streamer very much. He's one of these people who, you know, if you watch their content, they'll talk every like 45 seconds, and I find that infuriating. I don't understand why people stream if you're not going to talk. I don't get the appeal of commentary-free Let's Plays. I've just never understood that conceptually. It's not something like whenever I Google like, oh, I'm looking for a game to play, and I Google like I want to see what the gameplay looks like, and I turn on a video and it's completely silent, I'm like, no thank you. I just move on. You know, I don't dislike it or anything. I'm not gonna, you know, tear down another YouTuber, but for me, it is not for me. I was watching this streamer because they were playing a game I like, and they actually had, basically they said, so this was yesterday that I had been popped in and seen it. They asked him, like, why don't you play Warzone, which I've talked about is the new Call of Duty Battle Royale. And he said, you know, I really don't like supporting Activision. I believe that they have very predatory microtransactions. The support for games goes away as soon as they're out of the cycle. Like, they release a game every year. So like as soon as a new game comes out, they drop all development of a previous game. They don't maintain anything, and it gets frustrating to play those games and then have support drop out from under you. And I was like, wow, it's really reasonable. That's totally how I felt when I was a teenager and played those games, because they drop support immediately, and it's really frustrating as a player who likes those games that, you know, you're suddenly playing a game. It's bad enough that everyone moves on to the next game, so the community dies immediately. But it's also terrible that the actual people who make the game stop supporting it, and so there are bugs and things that get left behind and never addressed. And I was like, man, what a reasonable argument. Well, later that day, apparently the subreddit exploded with like, man, this guy, all he does is complain. He never shuts up. You know, all he does is badmouth things. You know, he can't ever just support something. I was like, man, what a weird reaction to someone saying like completely reasonable things. Like, I understand if you maybe disagree, but they were just tearing this dude down, and like people trying to gaslight and stir up stuff. They were like, oh, he only feels this way because he's a furry. He thinks he's better than everybody else. And it's like, geez, people went off the deep end. And like, on one hand, I felt like, okay, this guy didn't even really complain. He just expressed a concern about a particular company's, practices, which is totally reasonable. Gamers have strong opinions on companies. Like, I have lost a lot of faith for Blizzard over the last couple of years because of poor management decisions. I really liked Heroes of the Storm, and they basically dropped all support for Heroes of the Storm for really no reason other than because their esports didn't really work out. People weren't watching the esports league like they thought they would, and they basically said, yeah, I'm not going to continue putting money towards the development or maintenance of this game. We're just going to drop support pretty much entirely. And it lost a huge community of players. It lost a lot of the professionals that were into it. The esports league went away. It was a really big bummer. And so ever since then, I've been very reluctant to support Blizzard in any way because I really don't like the decisions they've been making. Now you add to that the whole Diablo, you guys have phones, right? Fiasco. And it's like, I don't like Blizzard the way I used to. I used to really support Blizzard. I was a huge fan of their franchises. And I thought, like, it made me think about me because I get 3 kinds of comments on my videos. I get supportive comments, which are like, hey man, really like your content, or you did a great job or whatever. Thanks for the content. And those comments, perfectly legitimate. I don't feel like I deserve them, but I appreciate that people take the time and that people enjoyed the videos. Second type of comment I get is like, hey man, you missed this thing. Like, hey, you were wrong about this. You're doing a tutorial, but you actually gave the wrong information. Or, hey, you forgot to mention this particular thing. And I'm perfectly fine with those comments. Those comments are helpful. And oftentimes what I will do is pin those comments and say, okay, in a comment down below, I'll say something like, oh, hey, I missed this, or I'll put it in the description, hey, I forgot to mention this, someone pointed it out to me, wanted to let you know that I had made a mistake. Those comments, perfectly fine, right? No problem with those. The third type of comment I get, which it seems to be a large majority. We've pulped the Dissolute Devourer at this point, so I don't see any reason in sticking around here. So we're just going to head north. If more come. Ignore. Oh, you were dangerously close. That's pretty unusual. We have been sprinting this whole time, and we are now out of stamina. So stop. That's my mistake because we were pulping when I was already low on stamina. That's a poor gameplay decision. Made a little bit of a misplay there. So we're just going to hold steady in place and use our gun a little bit while we recoup some stamina. It is going to allow more to come up to us, but again, it's not a big deal. That skeleton is going to be a little hard to kill with a bullet, but should be fine. Actually, was it bullets or spears that they're really immune to? I don't remember. Let's find out, shall we? See what kind of damage we get on this skeleton. We've never seen skeletons. Let's talk about skeletons briefly. There are multiple skeletons in the game, including hulks and skeletal... I believe it's skeletons, skeletal shockers, skeletal brutes. Do skeletal brutes exist? They might actually not exist. It goes skeleton, skeletal shocker, skeletal juggernaut. They're incredibly dangerous if you get towards the juggernaut. They're very scary. They're the coolest sprite in this particular tile set, by the way. But skeletons, let's read them. Monstrous overgrowth of ossified tissue that has replaced this zombie's rotting skin with an organic armor of dense bone. Large clumps of black goo seep from its joints as it shambles aimlessly, with sickening, crackling sounds filling the air around it. Yeah, I wanted to read this because a lot of people, when they hear skeletons, they think of, I don't know, that dude from Nightmare Before Christmas. Like, you think of a proper skeleton, magically animated bones or whatever. That's actually not what skeletons are in Cataclysm. In Cataclysm, skeletons are creatures that their skin, here we have the term ossified. I believe what that means is that it has hardened and calcified. So like its skin has shifted into this kind of hard, bony armor, right? It's not actually a skeleton in the sense that it's bones with no organs or anything like that. It is a creature. It just has like a thick skin, essentially. So if we shoot him, we hit him for 32. Apparently not very resistant to bullets. I must be misremembering. So not very scary. The juggernauts, considerably scarier, and would be very wary about you approaching them or anything like that. So just be cautious. we're clear enough here. We can back off. Go ahead and reload everything. Oh, we don't have... Oh, do we still have those in our inventory? The loose ammo? We do. So we can just reload. Just mash the R button and it will reload all of our clips. We actually don't want to carry all that on us, so we'll just dump that. I don't know, here's fine. In fact, we don't need most of this. I don't even want the laptop, I just wanted the battery out of it, but... yeah, so I get a lot of comments that are negative. I would say the majority of comments I get, I would say it's about 50-50. I'd say half of it is like, good job, or hey, you missed something. And then the other 50% is like, just terrible negative stuff. And the example I always use is when I canceled RimWorld. I got a lot of comments that were like, dude, just kill yourself. And it's like, for the love of God, it's a game. Why would you ever tell another human being to kill themselves? And even if you would, wasn't there a cargo space truck like right here? Because there was a reason I was fighting this horde. Because I thought there was like a truck right here. Did we already take them out? Yes, we did. We took them out and we were hauling them, right? And we got interrupted. So, wait a minute. Somewhere around here should be cargo spaces, I think. Unless I drove over them, which is absolutely possible now that I think about it. Because I think it was the feral and it... Okay, good, they're here. Okay. So let's pull these out. So we can just haul these individually. So we did get some cargo spaces. I would like more. It looks like the vehicle to the north probably has some. So let's stop hauling and we'll just dump these in here. Dump. There you go. Dump those in there. Nope. Where'd they go? Where did they go? Slash all into the cargo space at my feet, please. Okay, well, there they are. Fine. Okay, let's head to the one slightly to the north here. Should have some more cargo spaces. We're going to want, I mean, honestly, 2 or 3 should be enough because we're going to be putting additional things in here. But we might as well grab more while we're here. And it looks like there are some right here. So go ahead and stop the vehicle. And I don't mind if you're like, you know, negative in the sense, like, because the number one comment I get is like, dude, and this is why I'm thinking about this. 1, because it comes up every day and it frustrates me. And 2, because I was watching this streamer who really wasn't that complainy. I mean, he was a little complainy, but people freaked out and were like, dude, this dude never shuts up. He's always with this, always with the complaining, etc. And I was like, man, I get those comments on a daily basis where people are like, hey, I like your content, but you need to shut up. It's like, you hear the engine making a long beep. So we're not driving, I'm noticing. Why, stop trying to start the vehicle. Yeah, I wasn't... The vehicle was started. You take control. Doesn't have enough wheel. Stop driving. I don't know what that was about. Oh. It produced a little bit of gas. Is there a smoker here? Or is that all from the vehicle? Why? I don't know. I don't know if there's a smoker in this somewhere, or if this is all just from the vehicle starting. I think there's a smoker in there. What's wrong with the engine? Mend the engine. Starts without the key. Yeah, I think there's a smoker in the trunk. I really don't want to deal with that. You hear crash. Yeah, I would like... I can't really go in and fight you. And it doesn't seem to be able to see us through the smoke, so it doesn't even know I'm here. I don't want to deal with this. Let's back up. We're going to go look at this drone down here, see if it has a storage battery in it. We did bump into that vehicle, but it doesn't matter. And I'll be honest, I'm getting tired of the constant, like, negative, like, dude, stop complaining. I complain a lot. I fully recognize that. Oh, here we go. This is a tractor trailer without the truck. It is adjacent to the rail station, but we should have largely cleared those out. I forgot this was here. I thought there was a little drone street sweeper here that we could harvest for a battery. I'm actually not seeing one. Where did I see that? I definitely saw one. I thought it was at this intersection. Doesn't look like it. Let's hoof it down here, see what kind of monster density we're looking at. Really not much of anything. What's the nearest? Yeah, there's a small horde down there. Can we see through these? We cannot. So this will block them from seeing us. So let's just stand here. We still see some zombies. We'll just pull them off. Someone is vacuuming in my house. Ignore. Like, I know I complain. I often... See, the problem is I verbalize everything. I don't have a filter anymore. So basically I just say whatever is on my mind at any given moment. And sometimes that is complainy stuff when I get frustrated or whatever. Add to that I have some stuff in my personal life that frustrates me and makes me irritable. Add to that I have some mental health issues. And what happens is I complain a fair bit. And it's something that... So I haven't talked about this. So if you don't know, I have some anger problems. Oh, zombies, please. I'm trying to... Where did you all come from all of a sudden? I wasn't even making noise. I guess the gunshots, now that I think about it, I was shooting the gun. Whatever. Just put them down. Man, the tough zombies can take a few shots here. I would prefer if you didn't smash the vehicle. So some to the south may come up and start smashing the front of the vehicle, which would be annoying. But we'll just put these guys down. And again, you'll see how much our tactics have changed since we have a gun now. Pretty much exclusively shooting. There's really no reason for us to go into melee and risk taking damage. Oh, you know what I just noticed as well? Our torso went from 2 bars to like full in one night's sleep. That's interesting. We did antiseptic and we did bandage. And we do have a high first aid, but I really thought it would take a few days of doing that. But it looked like we healed to full in one night. So that's interesting. But again, that's just evidence of how much first aid matters. Yeah, they were smashing the side of the vehicle. You grabbed me? I don't think so. You freaking rando. So I haven't really talked about it. I have some anger issues. And when I am frustrated, when I was a teenager, my instinct is to hurt other people. Usually that was by tearing them down emotionally or, whatever. Being a bully, essentially. And a lot of times my anger would get turned loose on other people, which is not acceptable, and it's something I've strived really hard to not be like that anymore. The problem is, even as I've aged and I've learned other ways of coping with frustration and stuff like that, I still am I'm very emotional, and so for me, little things can really get under my skin, things that wouldn't bother most people, I do tend to have an overreaction to. I do tend to be a little bit more, like I use the word emotional. It's not great because people associate the word emotional with like, oh, maybe he cries a lot or something like that. What I mean is that I feel things really intensely, and it's often destabilizing. So like something to you that might be very, very minor, for me, will ruin my entire week. So for instance, on Friday, I shaved my beard, trimmed my beard, I cut my hair, got a hot bath, and was like, man, I feel good, and found out that my brother had taken my brand new clothing. And if you know anything about my brother, he's got some drug problems. I don't want to talk too loud because he's pretty sure he's right across the hall. He has some drug problems, and he disappears for weeks at a time, and they were my only clean pants because I just bought a bunch of new pants because all my other pants had ripped, and I finally upgraded, and then they were missing. And so my instinct is like, oh, he stole my clothing, and he's going to trade them for drugs and things. And so that one thing that for most people, yeah, of course that's irritating and frustrating. For most people, they just would move on because there's nothing, there's nothing I can do about that. And I don't think most people, but for me, like that completely ruined, like, because I recorded a couple Fallout episodes, went, showered, cut my hair, cut my beard, felt good, then found out I had no clean clothing. Literally, I have no other clothing, so I'm wearing, was wearing dirty pants and stuff like that. And the more I thought about it, the more upset I got. And I tried to sit down and record more Fallout, and I was just so irritable that, like, it definitely shows in the video that I'm frustrated and irritable and kind of really angry at the game for no reason. And so that little stuff that most people, yes, it's a frustration. Sure, most people would be irritated. You have every right to be irritated over something like that. I just never really learned how to cope with that stuff. And so it just snowballs into this, like, it's all I can think about. I'm so angry. Oh, I'm going to get them back. They're going to smell like weed. I'm going to have to do laundry again. I just bought these freaking clothes. I can't have anything nice. And it snowballs into this whole, like, mental, like, tangent and just lengthy, unpleasant, I don't know how to explain it. I don't handle stress well, is my point. And a lot of times when I'm playing a game and I'm, it's a small thing, how often have I complained about something in Cataclysm that's like, it's not really that big of a deal, but I blow it way out of proportion because I'm having a bad day and I don't handle things very well. So, like, when I come back and I get comments that are like, dude, just shut up and play the game, like, I'm so tired of hearing you complain, my knee-jerk reaction is like, one, they don't understand, because it's not like I don't know how to control the complaining and the frustration. It's something I've never really learned to deal with. Even as I've learned additional coping methods, they don't really work. There's really no good method that compensates for punching someone in the face. It's just so much more satisfying. Anyway, it's like, it's just a constant reminder, because, like, every day I get comments that are like, yeah, I wish you would stop complaining and just play the damn game, because I don't want to hear you talk about your life. And it's like, it's my content, I want to talk about my life. If I complain, I complain. That's ultimately what you get. If you don't like it, just leave. I'm just going to start banning people, to be honest. I know that's an overreaction, but, like, I'm so sick of hearing about it. I think I'm just going to start banning people so they can't comment anymore. So if you leave me a comment and you're like, hey, dude, you should kill yourself because you suck at this, I'm going to ban you because I don't want to deal with you. Because this is my space and it's my YouTube channel, and I don't want to have to deal with it. And it's just frustrating. And, it was interesting to see another streamer who, was complaining, but was ultimately not out of line or anything like that. And just the huge negative reaction from the internet, who are like completely off base. Like I said, there were people who were like, oh, it's because he's a furry. And it's like, what does that have to do with anything he's doing? Like, I've had comments where people are like, just because you can't get a handle on your mental health doesn't mean you have to act this way. It's like, oh man, you don't understand what it's like to live with constant crippling depression. If you don't understand where I'm coming from when I get sad and start talking about my negative emotions, and you're sitting there like, you just don't know how to handle life. You're wrong. You just don't get it. You definitely are someone who just doesn't understand, and I don't need to listen to your garbage. Anyway, we've rambled 24 minutes. We do need more frames as well. We just continue piecing out this vehicle. What I want to do, add a vehicle deconstruction zone. Vehicle deconstruct zone. Yes, and we'll make this right here. And we will remove the other vehicle deconstruction zone. And we'll save this, because I want to try, let's save in case I mess something up. I want to try using the deconstruct vehicle option. Very slow. Pitbull mix. No, ignore. What, sheet metal quarter panel. So it's just going to take apart, like, piece by piece every bit of the vehicle. Sheet of glass, windshield. That's cool that that's been automated. I don't know how much I like it. Because usually when you're deconstructing a vehicle, you're looking for a very specific part. It's not like you want to take apart every little bit of the vehicle. It's interesting. I don't have a jack on me, so the tires are going to prevent us from removing a lot of the frames and stuff. It's interesting though, and it doesn't drop them in a specific place. It just drops them on the ground. I mean, it's not great, but that's pretty cool. I thought that was for NPCs deconstructing, but the fact that you as a player can do it as well is nice. Because obviously Lyle Darden in here isn't helping us, but we can make ourselves do it. That's really cool. I mean, it did hand us a bunch of frames, and it's not like we had to do anything. I could have just sat back and talked the whole time, which is nice. They're moving towards a lot of that automation stuff. So like in the future when you're crafting and whatnot, I think the plans are to automate eating and drinking. That way the player doesn't have to stop multiple times a day to eat and drink. I don't know how I feel about that. I actually prefer doing things manually and probably will continue doing them manually if that's an option. But I know a lot of people do really like the idea of automating. To me, it's like, why are you going to play the game if you're also not going to eat and drink? Like eating and drinking. Oh, why do we have 2 tanks full of water? I thought we only filled the one. Like I literally watched myself fill one. Also, we have a tank that's draining, but it's not marked. 60-liter tank draining. Is that that's not one of these. That's one that's been busted. Let's get that out of here. It'll just give, oh, it's too dark. Yeah, that's not one of the ones we're using. That must have come with the vehicle. We should really go through and repair a lot of this stuff. Oh, we broke some. Oh, no, we didn't. I thought with the line here, I thought we broke off the edges. We didn't. So our ram's still in pretty good shape. We do need to repair some of that stuff, though, before it gets broken. If it gets broken, we have to have the actual part. If it's not broken, we can just repair with the welder. Anyway, I guess we spend the rest of the night here reading our computer book, because what else are we going to do in the dark? I didn't mean to rant. I know some people get upset when I say negative things about viewers, but I also think that there are some viewers who are extremely disrespectful, and I don't understand why you would watch someone and tear them down at the same time. Like, got like 5 or 6 comments the other week from someone, and a lot of them were snarky. And I tried to play it off and was just like, haha, yeah, you're right, and leave them a positive comment, and they replied with even more snarkiness. And it's like, I don't understand why you would watch so much, because they obviously watched multiple videos that they were commenting on. I don't understand why you would watch multiple videos from someone while simultaneously making fun and being like trolly to them. I don't understand that mindset. And what often happens is I get frustrated with myself for like the complaining, like I said, and then when someone comments about it, it is all that more upsetting, because it's like, not only am I upset with myself, but other people are upset with me as well. I don't know how to say what I'm saying. Despite being 32 and despite having done YouTube for about a year, I'm way sensitive to stuff like that, and it is a little embarrassing that I'm not better at my job, I guess. I'm disappointed in myself, and I think people take it the wrong way, and I don't know. I don't even know what I'm saying. What a crap series of episodes. The last 2 episodes and this one have just been so not good. We're going to continue leveling our computer skill. We have not seen any zombies that give CBMs, so I thought with the upgrading of the zombies as we cleared out the hordes, we would find some shockers and things. So that's been a bust. We did get some more cargo spaces. We now have frames, so we can expand our vehicle another tile back, which will give us more cargo spaces. We can... Oh, we read through the entire night. Okay. Hungry, thirsty, tired. Yeah, we should probably stop and just go to bed. So we're going to expand that vehicle out another set, I think. We're going to install more cargo spaces. We're going to work to getting a freezer in our vehicle. That's like the next main thing I want to do. Once we have a freezer, we can swing by a farm or something out in the country, butcher all the like horses and cows and stuff, and fill our freezer with meat. So we basically have just a ton of calories that we can eat at our leisure. Things like that. Other than that, what else? Put the autoclave in there is something that we're going to want to do at some point. It's not like it's... no, fall asleep. Don't ask again. Fall asleep. Toss and turn. Why? I'm comfortable and my character is tired. Why am I not sleeping? There we go. Okay. I thought maybe we were hot, but it says we're comfortable, so I don't know why we struggled to fall asleep there. Probably spent about 30 minutes trying to fall asleep, if not longer. Yeah, and then other than that, I think that's about it. We're going to end up, once we get our vehicle into a more base-like situation, we're probably going to hit the road. If we did that, we would take everything with us of value, and we probably would want a place for Lyle Darden to sleep. We're going to take him with us. My goal is to eventually try and figure out faction camps, but I'm not sure how many NPCs you need to start one. Probably more than one would be my expectation. And I just don't know how annoying that is. Like, I feel like if I started a faction camp, a huge part of my time would be spent trying to bring them food. I don't know if that's true or not, but it just seemed like something that would annoy me because I don't like NPCs very much. But for the tutorial series, I would like to at least give it a shot just so we can figure it out. Even if I don't know, I can figure it out with you, basically. Because as far as I know, Vormithrax also doesn't really play with NPCs. So one of the things I get questions about the most is, hey, can you do more faction stuff? Because people don't know how to do it. And I don't think Vorm ever made a video. Because like me, he doesn't really play with NPCs. So, or maybe he did, maybe I just don't know. But we'll figure it out eventually. For now, and of course we would be leaving our farm behind, but that means nothing. Farming in this game is not really necessary. And I'd like to find a nice little place where we could set up like a proper base, but I don't love the layout around us. I can't really think of where we would go next. I'd like to be on the outskirts of like an enormous city. So like up here, and just like live in one corner of the area here. Just build ourselves a little camp. Maybe build a cabin or something. That would be fun. Wouldn't it, Internet? Anyway, I think that's going to do it. Again, I apologize for the last couple episodes. I know every time I apologize, people are like, you don't have anything to apologize for. You did great. But it's not up to my standards. And that's what's so upsetting is like, I could do better than this. Anyway, that's going to do it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode.